Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and welcome to the BoxHard Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Mikey Garcia.
This the monster from the swamps, Regis Rougarou Program.
Hey, what's up? This is King Carlos Molina, former IBF world champ.
This is Michael, the Bounty Hunter, 2012 Olympian and your people's champ.
This is Charlie Edwards, flyweight champion of the world.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the BoxHard Podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 457 of the BoxHard Podcast. I'm your host Joey Coastman. I'm joined as ever by former heavyweight world title challenger, the main man himself, Mr. Fast Eddie Chambers. Eddie, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great, my man. How you?
Always good when speaking with you, Eddie. Gonna dive straight into the review part of the show as per usual. Gonna try to whiz through this as quick as possible. We're gonna start here at the Polideportivo Alexis Arguello in Nicaragua. Over here, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez moved to 52-4. A TKO for him in the 10th and final round against Robert Barrera, now 27-6. Yes, a successful ring return there for Roman Gonzalez. Hadn't boxed since 2022. Moving now to the IBA Coliseum in Serpukhov in Russia. Over here, we had the undefeated Albert Batir-Gaziev move to 11-0. A TKO in the 9th round against John O'Carroll, friend of the show. John O'Carroll now 24-3 with a draw. And like I say, Batir-Gaziev now 11-0. Gets another stoppage. And yeah, that one was for the vacant WBA interim Super-Featherweight world title. All the best to John O'Carroll there, of course. Moving now to the John Charles Centre for Sport in Leeds, Yorkshire, United Kingdom. Over here, a first round knockout for friend of the show, Bradley Ray, now 18-1. TKO in the first against Ondrej Budera, now 18-40 with 2 draws. Budera down twice in that first round. So yeah, nice win there for Bradley Ray against very, very, very late addition to the card, Ondrej Budera. Moving now to the Skate Central in Sheffield, Yorkshire, United Kingdom. Over here, we saw Dave Allen move to 23-6 with 2 draws. A points win for him over 4 rounds against Amin Bouchetta, who'd boxed twice in a space of 7 days. He boxed at the Copper Box last weekend, and then this weekend just gone at this place in Sheffield. So yeah, 2 losses for him on points. He's ever so tough. He's now 8-15. And yeah, all the best to him, going back to wherever he's from. Nice to see Dave Allen pick up a nice little win there. Moving now to the Palms Casino and Resort in the Pearl Theater, Las Vegas, Nevada. Over here we had Ruben Villa lose, a very big upset loss here. He's now 22-2, a unanimous decision loss to Solomon Segawa, now 17-4 with a draw. That one was for the WBC featherweight silver title. Over 10 rounds, so it goes 10 rounds. He was just outworked. Ruben Villa was absolutely terrible. I don't know what to make of it. A lot of people were really angry. They had him in their parlays. They felt that betting on Ruben Villa to win on points was pretty much free money, and it wasn't to be. He was absolutely terrible the other night there, and it was a shocking, unexplainable performance, because even on his worst day I would have felt he had enough talent to beat Segawa. But yes, Segawa, to his credit, really showed up and seemed like the hungrier fighter. And in the main event, obviously we were gonna get Janabek, but of course he was hospitalized due to dehydration on fight week. All the best to him, prayers with him. And the main event, obviously, or the chief support had been elevated to the main event, so we did in the end see Raymond Muratalla, now 21-0, a unanimous decision over 10 rounds against Tevin Farmer, friend of the show, former world champion, 33-6 with a draw now. It was his 40th pro fight. Yeah, it was for the vacant WBO, NABO lightweight title and the NABF lightweight title. Really good, interesting fight. I felt that Tevin Farmer boxed really well in the early parts of the fight, and obviously he had a point deducted in the 8th round, I think it was, for holding, and that was really, really sudden from the referee. I think the commentary team picked up on it straight away. Didn't really feel like a point should have been took off there. It seemed like it was very very sudden, without any warning. It didn't really, it didn't really make sense. It shouldn't have really happened at that point in the fight, because it was a really close fight up until that point, and I felt that that 1 point deduction there was going to be costly for Farmer in the end. But yeah, Farmer lost unanimously. The cards were way too wide in my opinion, and Farmer was badly hurt in that 12th and final round. 10th and final round, and yeah, was on shaky legs. But yeah, I'm kind of upset for Farmer, I suppose, because like I say, he'd been quite inactive. Then he come back. He racked up a couple of wins against lower level guys, got in there with Muratalla, who people look at as a really big prospect in the division, one of the, most talented guys on the come up right now. And I think for large parts of that fight, Tevin Farmer was in full control and making Muratalla look bang average, really. And he didn't really get any credit for his performance, I think. Like I say, I think the scorecards were way too wide. Some people even still felt Tevin Farmer won the fight, but I think that point deduction left a bit of a sour taste in everyone's mouths. But yeah, what can you do? Muratalla moves on. I don't know what happens next for Tevin Farmer, but yeah, he made Muratalla look quite average at times. And Muratalla, obviously, some people were getting carried away expecting him to stop Tevin Farmer. It didn't happen. Tevin Farmer, I think, was about 11-1 to win on points, and that for me almost came true. Moving now to the final card to mention of the review part of the show, I'm going to come to you, Eddie. It was live on DAZN at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. And you were there in attendance. I'm going to just read out both the main, the main results. Obviously, friend of the show, Sky Nicholson, now 11-0, another points win for her over 10-2s for the WBC featherweight world title against Diana Vargas. Now 19-2, as expected, really, for Sky Nicholson. Completely bossed things. I do want to see her stepped up a little bit. They've been talking about that Amanda Serrano fight for quite a long time. Obviously, she's boxing this weekend, so the timelines would potentially work for a fight next, but I don't know if it's going to happen politically. But I do want to see Sky Nicholson in with a name that I recognise, and Diana Vargas wasn't a name I recognised, and, I didn't recognise her fighting style either, to be totally honest with you. In the main event, another friend of the show, Jaron Ennis, now 32-0, a successful defence of his IBF welterweight world title, a first defence there against former champion and friend of the show, David Avanesian, now 30-5 with a draw. Avanesian down in the 5th and was pulled out in the corner. Let me give my piece on that really, really, really briefly, because I'm sure you're going to say more than me, Eddie. But as I expected, as anyone really who's ever seen David Avanesian fight before should have expected, he came to fight absolutely. Completely just went out there from the first bell and decided to meet Ennis in the middle of the ring and trade with Ennis. I was a little bit surprised with just how much he was willing to open up with Ennis. I did kind of think that we would see the second half of the fight, obviously, before the actual fight itself. My prediction all along was that it would go to the second half of the fight. However, I think because David opened up so early, and again, he was opening up his body so many times, he was getting hit with some massive body shots from Ennis, and, God knows how he was taking them, by the way. But because he opened up so early, I thought, okay, this definitely isn't going into the second half of the fight, I don't think, because it just can't carry on like this. It was a fast-paced fight. There was a lot of big punches exchanged from both men. And obviously Ennis was getting the better of it. I don't think you could give David a round. Maybe you could give him one of them rounds. I can't remember which one. There was one round he had some nice shots land in a row on Jaron Ennis. I think he caught him with a few nice uppercuts, but Ennis was the much quicker, sharper, heavier-handed fighter. You know, it was more fluid from him, and he was the boss in there. But yeah, good performance from Ennis. If we're going to be critical, you could talk about how many times he got hit in just 5 rounds, because he certainly took some big shots. You kind of have to wonder what may happen. I don't want to sort of go too negative, but what may happen if he was in with a bigger puncher than David Avanesian. But yeah, happy for Ennis. It's another win. He's 32-0. I do want to see him step it up against, you know, a little bit kind of better level of opposition. That's no disrespect to Avanesian. But yeah, as for Avanesian, you know, he's still going to get nice little paydays for having a belt in the past. And pretty much, like I say, every time he fights, even if he loses, he gives it his all. And it was a really fun fight while it lasted. Probably funner than I thought it would be. You were there, Eddie. What did you make of it, my friend?
I agree with what you said. From top to bottom, I'm going to probably add a couple things to it. But, if I'm going to be critical, and of course, you know, I am, especially of a kid that I think is, you know, one of the next ones, he got hit too much, simply put. And I understand why he put himself in that position, because he wanted to make a big splash in front of the hometown crowd, and everybody expects him to be, you know, to stop him, and, you know, he's the boogeyman and blah, blah, blah. But in those situations, in my opinion, you have to be more to what your style is and what you're going to be best at a higher level opponent. I'm not saying David Avanesian is not a high level guy, but maybe his best days are behind him. And, you know, however, he does have experience, and you can see that. You can see that he understood, even if it was the wrong choice of style to fight this kid. He understood how to stay in, catch the shots, return, and he was landing some decent shots. But Boots just got hit too much. I think he was trying to do too much. He was trying to make too much of a splash with his power, trying to get the knockout without really going through the stages of the fight. I mean, you know, initially I figured it would go anywhere from 6 to 8, but then, like you said, Joe, with the way Avanesian decided to play the fight, he was taking too many chances and taking too many shots. Body, head, you know, shots that were coming up the middle, uppercuts, things like that. It was just, he was putting himself in the line of fire a little bit too much for a puncher like Boots. But regardless of that, I think we have to look at, you know, Boots moving forward. And just like you said, if there was a bigger puncher, better guy, like, you know, like, let's say, you know, a Terrence Crawford. If Terrence Crawford is in there, he can't take those kinds of shots. He can't put himself in position to be hit like that. Now, obviously, if he was in front of Terrence Crawford, he would not be doing the same thing that he was doing in front of Avanesian. You know, he was obviously, you know, had the idea that this fight was, you know, for him to look good, which in a way it was. And Avanesian definitely made the fight very interesting by coming forward, but actually being a good, you know, giving them he wasn't giving as good as he was getting, but he was definitely giving something back. So it was good to have a live guy in there that was actually trying to put forth a real effort to make him work. But like I said, he just got hit too much. He put himself in position to get hit too much. You know, and Joe, you know how I always, you know, I'm always going to that defensive side. And I think, you know, because it promotes longevity. It also promotes confidence in being at close range and what you're able to do at that range, at that range offensively off of counters without getting hit. You understand what I'm saying? I think we overlook sometimes how important it is to be able to hit without being hit. And at times I just think he was trading. And yeah, he had the bigger power. Yeah, he's the better fighter. Yeah, he's the younger fighter. So he got away with it there. But is he going to get away with it at the next level? And like I said, he has the ability to take it the distance and become that next Terrence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather kind of guy. But he's got to stick to the plan. He's got to, I'm not saying don't let the hands go. I'm not saying don't be exciting. I'm not saying don't go in there and go for it. Absolutely do that. But at the same time, you have to be defensively responsible. You can't allow punches to land. I don't care what it is. At the end of the day, if he's in there and he's a high-level guy, former champion, he has the ability to put his hands on you in a way that nobody else has. And if that's the case, you can't take a chance on getting caught. Because he could have got caught, and that nice homecoming he had in Philly would have all been derailed just from one shot from David Avanesian. It could have happened. It's not impossible. So you cannot go in there with the idea that it's impossible. Yes, you got to go in there with the confidence that that's not going to happen, but you cannot go in there thinking that you won't get hit or you won't be in a situation like that. You won't have to really face adversity because eventually it's going to come. And in my opinion, he's got to stick to the plan. And whatever plan they had, it's up to them. But the way I look at it is you got to think longevity. You don't want to be 25, 26, 27, 28 years old, and it's not going to be that far off for him to be there and be down the end of be down the back end of your career because of the damage you took, as you were coming up. So, I've seen guys like that. Like, one of the guys that comes to mind is Fernando Vargas. When he was 27, 28 years old, it looked like he was, in his 30s already because of so many tough fights with so many high level guys. But if you can afford to do it, I think you have to be a little more defensively responsible, use what ability you have, box a little bit more, and you'll find the shots you need to get a guy like Avanesian out of there. Maybe not early in the fight, maybe a little later, but you still keep yourself from taking unnecessary punishment. Now, I'm not going to be overly critical saying it wasn't a good performance. It absolutely was a good performance. I just thought he got hit a little bit too much, took a little bit too many chances. You know what I mean? It was actually a very entertaining fight, probably a little more entertaining than it should have been. He should have, he should have went out there and took him out the way he's supposed to and not take punches. But hey, it was a fight fans kind of, and actually an everybody kind of fight, you know what I mean? And not just an educated fight fan. So, which is a good thing for him to a degree because his stock rises. On top of that, his celebrity will rise and his entertainment value rises too. So, yeah, it's a good all around situation for Boots. It's just except for that taking punches because he can't do that at the next level. And as for David Avanesian, I agree, Joe. He's still going to be marketable to take these, get fights, get guys in there, and he'll still have some paydays. Don't know if he's going to win any of these fights on the way down, but it'll be fun to watch him do it. It'll be fun to watch him get in there and fight some of these guys. But all in all, good card. It was great to be there. It was a nice atmosphere. We were in one of the boxes with some friends, some new friends, and it was just a great night. We enjoyed it.
Some new friends? Have you replaced me, Eddie?
Never. You're not even friends. You ain't my friend, Joe. You family, man. What you talking about? Why you asking a question like that? Now, I say new friends. I mean, we just expanded it a little bit. You know what I mean? Some good guys, good business guys too. So yeah, it was a nice situation. It was a nice atmosphere to be in, and also to be able to see a fight. You be the guy, the kind of educated guy of what we're at. So, people asking me questions and asking me things about what I've done and all that. So it's kind of nice.
Good stuff, my friend. Well, there we go. That brings the review part to a close. It's now time to welcome this week's special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated WBC International Super-Featherweight champion, Mr. Ryan the Piranha Garner. Ryan, welcome on the show, my friend.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me. I know it's been a little while, but we're finally here.
Yeah, we're finally here. But no, like I say, big fight for you coming up in a couple of weeks. Before we get to that, though, you're coming off a dominant decision win over the ever-so-tough Liam Dillon at York Hall. I was sat in the very front row for that fight. Talk me through that one, mate. Good performance.
Yeah, like I say, I was happy with it a little bit, my performance. There was a lot of improvement. I was doing a lot of things wrong, which I liked, you know what I mean, which I wasn't doing in preparation for the fight wrong. So it was weird. I think the whole, I don't know, the moment just maybe it might have got the better of me at some stages, you know what I mean, getting drawn in sometimes, stuff like that, dropping my left hand, which I don't normally do like that. So I took a lot of positives from it, which for me to improve on. Obviously going into this Archie Sharp fight, I can't make them mistakes against him. Do you know what I mean? He's a class operator. So if I make the same mistakes I did against Liam Dillon, then I'll pay for them against Archie Sharp. So obviously me and Wayne have been working on things in the gym. We've upped our game for this fight. The training's been going amazing. So, but the fight in itself, obviously, like you said, you was front row. It was exciting, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? The fans loved it, which it's just my style. My style is always going to be exciting. I'm a crowd pleaser. That's why I got drawn in a bit when I shouldn't have sometimes. But all round, I'm happy with it, mate. I was out of the ring 10 months before that. Never done 10 rounds in my life. And at that pace as well, couldn't have gone any better. You know what I mean? I got before this, now going into the Sharp fight, I got 10 rounds in the bank at a very, very high pace. Just loads of positives to take from it, really, mate. But if you go off that performance, that was nowhere near my best. Even though I was good in there at some moments, I was getting tagged when I shouldn't have. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to this fight. I'm going to be in next to Archie. I'm going to be a whole different new game.
Yeah, no, it was a really exciting fight, and it was fought at a fast pace. I was convinced that Dillon wasn't going to hear the final bell after the first couple of rounds, but to his credit, mate, he's a tough guy, isn't he?
Tough, mate. I've seen a few videos since. I haven't watched the fight. I haven't watched the full fight back. I watched it was on YouTube not long after. There was a highlight, the highlight of the whole 10 rounds. You know what I mean? They narrow it down to smaller bits. I haven't watched the full fight in itself, but some of this early on, mate, them left hooks to the body. I've dropped him in sparring. Do you know what I mean? Big gloves on, and they go over. But for him I see him wincing, and he was taking him. Do you know what I mean? He just kept coming and coming. So I take my hat off to him, mate. He was real tough, wasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly was. But no, yeah, you were brilliant to the head and body. On to the next one. As you say, you'll be boxing Archie Sharp July 27th at the O2 Arena. Somebody's O must go. What do you make of Archie as a fighter, Ryan? How highly do you rate him?
Oh, he's a very good fighter. Do you know what I mean? I'm under no illusion this is going to be by far the toughest fight of my career. He's a good mover. He's slick. He's fast. He's unorthodox. You know what I mean? He switches. He's tricky, very, very tricky. So I'm gonna have to work. I'm gonna have my work cut out. But I know what I've got to do. Obviously, I can't spill all the beans. You know what I mean? But I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do in there. And I'm just the way I'm feeling at the moment is strongly. Where obviously of that last fight from Liam Dillon, getting them 10 rounds in, I had a couple of weeks off and was straight back into camp again. And so I'm building on it. Whereas before the Liam Dillon fight, I was out of the ring for 10 months for injury. Obviously, I got injured. Then, obviously, you could come back. It was 10 months before my previous fight. So now I've got a bit of momentum. I've maintained my strength and if not improved it from the last camp. Do you know what I mean? Where I was able to have a couple of weeks off and then go straight into camp again. I'm building on stuff instead of stop-start. Do you know what I mean? Catching up again. So I feel like physically, mentally, fitness-wise, everything, I'm going to be a whole lot better than last fight.
And Ryan, what do you feel that you do better than Archie? You've said there you rate him, you're under no illusion. What do you feel that are your strengths over his kind of thing?
I believe my fitness, my physical strength. Just the pace I set in that. Do you know what I mean? Not many people can maintain the pace that I set. Do you know what I mean? And definitely, obviously, the last fight was such a high pace. I feel like I'm even fitter than I was for that. So I think even this is going to be a higher pace. And he's a good mover, like I said before. So can he handle the pace, the pressure, all that? Do you know what I mean? We'll find out in a couple of weeks.
And of course, you both boxed on that same card last time out. Archie was shockingly dropped twice in the first, albeit he got up and dominated, you know, from after that round there. Do you take something from that? Can you read much into that?
No, not really. Do you know what I mean? He's a good fighter regardless. Loads of fucking, sorry, excuse my French. loads of world's best fighters ever in the world who's ever boxed. They've all been dropped once in their career. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't define a fighter getting dropped. So I'm not taking much from that. Like, I know, like, he got caught on that, and I think if I caught him with similar, and it was like similar scenarios, that I won't let him off the hook as what that fella did that who he was fighting. Do you know what I mean? He rushed it too much and smothered it, and then gave Archie time to get back into it. Whereas I won't let him off the hook, if you know what I mean. Whereas mate, he did. So yeah, I ain't taking too much from it, mate. Anyone can get caught cold. It was like I say, his first round. He come back, dominate the fight. So listen, I know Archie's a very, very good fighter, and I know it's going to be a tough fight, but it's a fight that I truly believe that I can win, and I'm really up for it. So still do whoever turns up on the night, mate.
And obviously you're both with Frank Warren. Is there an A side in this fight, or is it kind of level playing field?
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's for my title, but mate, I don't care if there's an A, B, or C side. Do you know what I mean? It's a fight at the end of the day. It makes no difference who's A or B side. At the end of the day, you both got to get in there and take each other's head off. So it don't matter if I could, mate, I'll be B side away. It doesn't make a difference to me. It doesn't make whatever. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't. It's only a letter at the end of the day, innit? And it don't matter at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's said in the words of a true fighter. Where does the winner of this fight go, and where does the loser go? I know that obviously you're both undefeated. I don't feel like the loser will be in like a crazy terrible place, though.
Nah, mate, listen, we're both still young, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Well, I'm 26 years old. I'm only just starting to come into my prime now. So, and I think he's only 28. That is not the end of the road for whoever loses. Do you know what I mean? Going off the ages of that. And I think, well, the door's massive with all these, obviously Frank's connection now with the Saudis and the shows going on there. It opens up massive, massive doors, do you know what I mean, for the winner of this. Obviously Archie's number 3 with the WBO. So whoever wins this, potentially you got a shot at something bigger then, ain't you? For the WBO potentially.
For sure. So. And Ryan, how do you see the fight unfolding in the ring come the 27th? I don't want you to give away too much, but what can you tell us? How do you think it'll go?
Mate, I just think it's going to be tricky to start with. I think obviously Archie's a good mover in that. He's sharp, but so he's going to be good for the first half of the fight in that. But the way I'm feeling, mate, and the way I'm sparring and stuff like that, I think later on, mate, with the pace I'm going to be setting and how strong I feel, I think I'm going to get to him late on. So, yeah, we'll just see on the night, like you say. I think, yeah, it's going to be a tough fight in there at times. There'll be spells, do you know what I mean? When he's going to have his way, and then I'm going to get my way, do you know what I mean? It's going to be tit for tat sometimes, but I think in the end, mate, I'm going to get to him.
So does that mean a late stoppage?
Potentially, yeah. Or regardless, okay, I know I'm going to win.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We'll see, mate. All I can say is, like, I could say I'm going to go in there and spark him out in 20 seconds, you know what I mean? But being truthfully, anything can happen. It could be a long night. I know it's going to be a hard night, so I'm putting in the work in the gym, preparing myself ready for a hard night. So, yeah. And
you feel that Archie will be the best opponent you'd have boxed so far, Ryan?
Yeah, by a mile, isn't it, really? I haven't really fought anyone of any, bar Liam Dillon last time. I haven't. I'm under no illusion that I've got some amazing record. I've fought loads of killers, do you know what I mean? Liam Dillon's the highest name that I've ever fought, you know what I mean?
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
The whole card itself on July 27th is absolutely insane, isn't it? For me, it's just unmissable.
Yeah, obviously, I know, obviously, with the main event, it's it's hard. A lot of people obviously saying, they're both. He's always been around for ages, and he's been in some wars. He may be potentially a bit past it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Joyce, you've seen he's been stopped a few times. So I don't think the main event. The main event is what it is, isn't it? Two big names, heavyweights going at it. But you got the Dennis McCambaluta rematch. That's a massive fight, a very, very good fight. Me and Archie's another good fight. And they're the two main biggest fights on there, aren't they? Really, it's a real good fight. And obviously, you got loads of other people fighting with titles and that. But I'd say with them two fights, me, Archie, and Dennis and Baluta, they're the show stealers, isn't they, really?
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, it's a fantastic card. I get what you're saying about the main event. I agree. You got Moses Italma in a big step up as well. So yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah. That's tough. I think it'll be too much for him when they get him out of there, catch him.
Yeah, that'll be a statement. Obviously, we see Wack recently take Big Fraser Clark the distance. But yeah, good card. Few good names on it for sure. Just before
First time I've ever fought there, so it's going to be some real good. Obviously, the O2 mates, massive, isn't it? I've never fought on a show with this magnitude, so I'm going to be soaking it all up, mate. It's all good experience, and I love it.
Excellent, my friend. Just before we let you go, Ryan, if you want to just send a closing message just to the listeners, you want to thank some sponsors, you want to drop your social media handles, do whatever you like, my friend. The floor is yours.
Yeah, obviously, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to everyone who's bought tickets so far. I think I'm going to do around 350, 400 tickets for this. So everyone's coming from Southampton to cheer me on, obviously, in my biggest fight to date. So I just want to say a massive thank you. Also, massive thanks to all my sponsors. You got Precinct 5 Group, Chapter 8 Construction, Site Solutions, Specialist Contractors, Dwellers Dry Lining, Total Comms, Stu McGowan General Builder, Broadswood Group, Terrace Cult, my food sponsors, Former, NJS Scaffolding, and also big thanks to fight sponsors for helping me secure some of these sponsors and helping take a burden off my life and helping me train full time.
Yeah, well said, my friend. Drop your social media handles as well. You forgot about yourself.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, myself, obviously, I got my Instagram is Piranha 98. My Twitter, I think, is Piranha 98 as well. And I've got a Facebook page, Piranha Garner. So, yeah, give me a follow and like on all them. And it's much appreciated. Follow the journey to the top.
There we go. Listen, Ryan, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for coming on. Best of luck on the 27th, and we'll speak again soon, my friend.
Top man, mate. Thank you. Cheers for having me on. Appreciate it.
Okay, now it's time for part 2 on this week's show. This part, of course, usually the news, but there's nothing again. There seems to be a bit of a slow period with news in recent weeks. So if anything develops from now to the end of the show, I will talk about it on the outro. So let's move on now to the preview part. We're going to start here tomorrow, Friday, July 19th at the Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio, California, USA. It's going to be live on DAZN. Just one fight to mention, really. Alexis Rocha, 24-2. Back in a 10-rounder here against Santiago Dominguez, a guy that I've never heard of, but he's managed to get himself to 27-0. Could be an interesting fight. Probably will be with Alexis Rocha involved. Moving now to Saturday, this one's going to be live on ESPN. I'm going to assume it might be on Sky Sports as well, perhaps. But over here, we're going to see Kosi Tanaka, 20-1, defending his WBO Super-Flyweight world title against Jonathan Rodriguez, 25-2 with a draw. And of course, Junto Nakatani, 27-0, defending that WBC Bantamweight world title against Vincent Astrolabio, who's pulled off a couple of upsets. He's only been stopped once in his 4 losses. He's 19-4. Nakatani expected to get the stoppage. I think it could be interesting, but Nakatani, very, very good fighter to watch, and hopefully it is on Sky Sports because I'd like to watch that here on my TV. Moving now to later, I believe later in the Saturday. This is going to be evening time here at the Resorts World Arena in Birmingham, West Midlands, United Kingdom. This card is a really good card, however, it's took a bit of a blow. I think it was supposed to be like a Magnificent 7, part 2 or whatever, but obviously there's been a couple of pullouts. Solomon Dakers, 8-0, steps in with Michael Webster, who's 10-1. It was supposed to be Dakers against David Adelaide. Adelaide's pulled out the fight. In steps Michael Webster, who did actually give Solomon Dakers a tough fight a few fights ago. I think it was 2 or 3 fights back for Dakers, and they boxed to a majority decision for Dakers. That one is a rematch there, over 10 rounds for the English heavyweight title. And also Shabazz Massoud, 12-0, was supposed to be stepping in with Liam Davies, and he's had to pull out the fight. So Shabazz Massoud still fights, but he's in a much lower level fight. Here he steps in with Marvin Solano, who's 24-17. That's over 8 rounds there. Getting to the more juicier fights, we're going to see Zach Parker, 24-1, back in action. It's over 10 rounds here at super middle. Interesting to see us at super middle, because I actually felt that Zach Parker had made a move to light heavyweight, if I'm not mistaken, or perhaps I am mistaken. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he'd gone to light heavy though, but this one is apparently at super middle. He steps in though with Jack Arnfield, who is a little bit of a name from the past, if you like. He's 26-3. However, he's only had 1 fight in the last 6 years. He's never been stopped in his 3 losses, but the bookies are expecting Zach Parker to get the business done within the distance. Like I say, it is a 10-round fight. Zach Parker, no one sung his praises as high as I did, but he did not look good against Tyron Zoiga last time out in that very same venue. So he needs to bounce back with a good win. Even though he beat Zoiga, he was down in that fight in the 2nd round. It was a big shock. So yeah, Zach Parker needs to come back and look back to his best. Really needs a big performance, in my opinion. He needs a stoppage, I think. Also on the card, we've got Owen Cooper, 10-0, coming off a really good win, I believe, last time out when he boxed Ethan James. I think he was the underdog, but managed to end up stopping James. And he's back here. He's 10-0 with 4 KOs. He steps in with Echo Esserman, who is currently 19-1. It's for the English and the WBO European welterweight titles. Echo Esserman, obviously coming off that loss to Harry Scarf back in November. He looked so bad on that night there. I really fancied him against Harry Scarf. However, he was dreadful, and he's back here. And again, it's a must-win fight for Echo Esserman, I think. But again, I feel like that fight's probably got the distance written all over it. I don't see a stoppage for either man. Echo Esserman really, for me, should win that fight on points. I think he's about 2-1. It's an interesting price, in my opinion. I think Owen Cooper, I don't want to say he looked good against Ethan James, but I feel like Ethan James, because he was so bad, Ethan James, I think he maybe made Owen Cooper look a bit better than what he could have been, perhaps, or what he is, perhaps. So I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's a suggestion. I mean, Echo Esserman should win this, but then again, I said that against Harry Scarf, and he was dreadful. So should be a good fight, like I say. Also on the card, we're going to see here for the vacant WBC interim super lightweight world title over 10-2, Chantel Cameron, friend of the show, 18-1 currently, coming off her sole defeat to Katie Taylor. Just great to see Chantel back in action, to be honest. It's going to be her first fight under Frank Warren. Obviously, people know, got a very close relationship with Chantel, so I'm so happy to see her back here, and back happy, more importantly. She steps in with Elam McCalled, who is 17-2. The 2 losses came to Delphine Persoon and Alicia Baumgartner. Both of those losses were on points, of course, so yeah, like I say, she's a tough lady, and the bookies are expecting her to lose on points again here. We don't think that Chantel's going to get the stoppage. I tell you what, I wouldn't bet against it, that's for sure. What else do we have on this card? What else do we have? Ashley Lane, 18-10 with 2 draws, stepping in with Andrew Kane, who's 11-1 with 10 KOs from his 11 wins. It's for the British and Commonwealth bantamweight titles. Obviously, Ashley Lane with a massive upset last time out against Chris Bulk. He's defending those belts here, but Andrew Kane is a big puncher, and I'm sure he'll be bang up for it. Obviously, he's bounced back after losing to Baluta now, and I think he'll do the business here, probably by stoppage, to be honest with you. But Ashley Lane has he's not got a great looking record, but he's turned the corner a little bit. He's looked good in his last couple of fights. And yeah, obviously, I think it's got to be main event. I would have thought so. Nathan Heaney, 18-0 with a draw in this rematch against Brad Pauls, 18-1 with a draw for the British middleweight title over 12 rounds. Absolutely fantastic fight. The first one was unbelievable. I give Nathan Heaney a hell of a lot of credit for taking this fight. I never in a million years thought we'd see this rematch, because he barely scraped, well, obviously it was a draw, but he barely scraped that draw with Brad Pauls. I really, really felt that, if someone's going to nick it, it's going to have to be Brad Pauls for me. I think that was what I felt at the time. I was sat in the very, very front row. So yeah, I had the best seat in the house, but I don't remember thinking that Nathan Heaney did enough. I think it was a close fight, but if I'm not mistaken, I think I did give it to Pauls. I'd have to go back and listen to that podcast, and I can't be bothered, but really close fight, and I just felt that, Nathan Heaney's not going to want that again, but how wrong I was. And I remember, though, like Brad Pauls, who's not really known as a puncher, for me, come close a few times to stopping Nathan Heaney. Really, really hurt Heaney with some big shots in that fight. Obviously, he went away. I think initially he was devastated that he didn't get the decision. I think he was probably in a little bit of a kind of dark place. And for him to get this opportunity straight away again, it's a dream scenario for him. And obviously there's a lot of pressure on Heaney as well to deliver again. It's definitely going to be a hard fight for Heaney. But yeah, I just think for Brad Pauls, to get this rematch literally 4 months later from the first fight, he's had a real result. So may the best man win, because like I say, no one wants a draw. We saw a draw last time in a brilliant fight, and I don't see it not being a brilliant fight again. So you'd be mad to miss this fight card on Saturday night. I was thinking about making the trip up to Birmingham, but there's just too much going on in my life right now to actually put time aside and go up there. But yeah, I'll definitely be watching it on my TV for sure. That is a brilliant card from Frank Warren, and next week's card from Frank Warren, obviously we're going to talk about that on next week's podcast, but that is an unbelievable card as well. So credit to Frank Warren. I take my hat off to him there, or tip my hat to him, as they say. That's it for that one. Moving now to the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, USA. We're going to see Amanda Serrano back in action. Her record at the moment is 46-2 with a draw, so she's officially having her 50th pro fight. She steps in with Stevie Morgan, who's 14-1 with 13 KOs, known as the Sledgehammer. I've never seen her fight, but obviously she can bang. She took a loss last year to Calista Salgado, majority decision loss over 10-2s. But yeah, other than that, I'm actually looking at this record and there's nothing in there that makes me think, whoa, she's good. She hasn't really boxed anyone at all. So yeah, that is not so impressive actually. She turned pro in 2022 and she's been fighting regularly, but just against nobodies really. She's 35 years of age. All the best to her. She's going to certainly need some luck against Amanda Serrano. However, Serrano's kind of, after getting so many knockouts, she's gone the distance in her last 7 fights in a row going the distance. That's never happened in her career. So it certainly seems as if she's maybe slowing down a little bit. And obviously that Katie Taylor fight is penciled in for later this year. So, yeah, there's a lot on Serrano's plate at the minute. All the best to her, though, nonetheless. Also on the card, I want to give a special shout-out to another lady here, another friend of the show, Shadeja Green, back in action, coming off that loss to Franchon Cruz de Zern. I'm happy that she's managed to get herself on this card. Obviously, she's signed to MVP Promotions. Yeah, she's 13-1, coming off that sole defeat. She's boxing here in an 8-rounder, 8-2s against Natasha Spence, who's 8-4 with 2 draws, never been stopped. She can also punch a bit as well. She's got 6 KOs from her 8 wins. So yeah, it could be interesting, but you definitely back Shadeja to win that one, and probably by stoppage. What else do we have on this card? We've got Jake Paul back in action. He's 9-1. He steps in with a guy who I don't know called Mike Perry, who is 0-1 as a boxing pro. I think he probably has some kind of background in another form of combat sports. It's an 8-rounder here at cruiserweight. Whatever happens there, I do not care. We're also going to see Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. back in action. Could you believe it? He's having fight number 61. He's 53-6 with a draw these days. He's back in a 6-rounder against a guy who's 1-0 called Uriah Hall. And I've looked at the odds on this, and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is the slight favourite. The only worry is he hasn't boxed since 2021, so you just do not know what kind of shape he's going to come in at come the weigh-in. He steps in with Uriah Hall, like I say, who's 1-0, a cruiserweight from Jamaica, and he hasn't boxed since October 2022, so honestly anything could happen in that fight there. And then moving to the final card to mention, I've whizzed through this preview part on my own here. This one goes down at the Maryland Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland, USA. And over here we have friend of the show, Michael Fox. He's 22-4. Good fighter, Fox. I think we all know, he should have picked up a version of a WBA world title that night against Gabriel Maestra, and he got absolutely robbed, so clear. And unfortunately, he's now in a position where he's coming off 3 losses on the bounce. But he's back in action, and I want to wish him all the very best. I don't think he's going to need the luck. It's for the UBO Intercontinental welterweight title, but it's an 8-rounder here for him. He's been inactive. I don't think he's boxed since like 2022. He steps in with Donald Ward, who's 18-12 with 2 draws. All the best there to Michael Fox, my good friend. That is it though for the preview part of the show. In part 1 we did the review part, then we welcomed our special guest Ryan the Piranha Garner, a man who I think has probably got potentially the best nickname in British boxing right now. And then in part 2 there was no news to bring you, but I did just do the preview part all on my own. The final thing for me to do is to come in with the outro, which I'll do in just a few seconds. Okay, and this brings episode 457 to a close. I've been your host, Joey Coastman. Eddie Chambers has been with me for the duration of the show. A special shout out to this week's special guest, which of course was the undefeated super-featherweight contender, Mr. Ryan the Piranha Garner. The biggest thanks of all goes out to you, the listeners. Thanks once again for tuning in. That is about everything for myself. Enjoy your weekends, people. Stay safe, and we'll see you all again same time next week.